Thomas Cook has registered a 20% growth in advanced booking as Indians gear up for the summer vacation. The travel company says the millennials are changing the way India takes a vacation. Thomas Cook has witnessed a 35% surge in bookings for Japan. Newer destinations are more sought after, said Executive Director and CEO Mahesh Iyer in a conversation with Mishika Parak. Listen into that conversation.
So if you look at the last year that ended, which is calendar year CY18, we grew our holidays business by about 17%. This is in terms of value. In terms of volume, we grew about 12%. For the current season, which is the holiday season, the period between April to June of 2019, we are actually seeing a 22% growth in our volumes. And we are seeing about 22-24% growth in terms of value also.
Okay. Also, Thomas Cook has observed a 20% growth in bookings. What has led to this kind of growth, and is this growth sustainable in the near future?
Yeah, if you see actually over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been investing a lot into technology and into our channels through which we distribute our products to the customer. Our penetration has been deeper into the tier 2 and tier 3 markets, where we believe a lot of consumers are now willing to spend money on holiday as a category. It is that category of spends where consumers are no more holding back their purses, and holiday is not being looked upon as a once a year event. People are looking at multiple breaks and maybe 2 or 3 breaks during the year. Clearly that's fueling the demand. Also, spends in terms of people having money in their pockets have been much higher over the last 2 years. Courtesy of some of the measures that the government has taken, rural income being slightly higher than what it used to be. So all of this is kind of fueling the demand that we've seen for the holiday, and that is a trend that we have consistently seen over the last 2 years. We see no reason why this demand should not continue, purely because if you look at the macro scenario, India is moving away from being a savings economy to a spending economy. A lot of people are now willing to take credit for travel, which was not the situation about 5 years ago. So clearly the options that are available for people to make that travel happening is far more as compared to be what it used to be in the past. So clearly we are very optimistic and buoyant about the fact that this growth will be sustainable.
Correct. Okay, sir, connecting to this answer, are there any trends that you're observing in the industry currently in India and the industry?
Sure. If you look at it from an India perspective, I think a millennial travel is defining how people are going to take holidays. Unlike in the past, when you talk about domestic holidays, that's people traveling within the country. The definition of holiday was visiting friends and relatives and probably, taking that religious or pilgrimage tour or kind of thing. Today what's happening is that you have a class of travelers, which is millennials and families, who are looking at more experiences. They don't need to come to a travel agent like Thomas Cook to book an airline ticket or to book a hotel accommodation. What they come to us is for the experiences, and that's what we bring to the table. A 150-year-old brand in this country with a lot of experiences, a lot of knowledge about the market, is able to bring a lot of experiences to them, which is exactly what the customers are looking for. And that trend is witnessed into the growth for our domestic business also. We've been witnessing a close to 40% CAGR into the domestic business over the last 3 years. On the international side, we are seeing more popular destinations coming up. Europe used to be the front runner, still contributes about 50% to the portfolio, but newer geographies like Japan, Eastern Europe, Hungary, Scandinavians, they are the ones which are coming up big time, and people are willing to go out and experiment, and that we believe is a great opportunity for us. The other important trend that's happening is that people are no more compulsively looking at GIT only. What I mean by GIT is the group travel. People are willing to invest in more customized offering for which they are willing to pay a price, because what they want is to pack a little more experience that are different from what they have done in the past. So they may start off their travel journey traveling in a group, but increasingly they are looking at more customized experiences for themselves and their family, which we believe is a great run for the future.
Okay, great, sir. Okay, aviation industry data shows that domestic airline passenger growth has slowed down. Do you see this as a concern?
Not really. Actually, if you see, for a person to travel, there are multiple avenues, airline being one. And I think we should be mindful that if you look at the domestic space, Udan as a scheme that the government launched has actually increased more connecting points. So if you are going to measure connectivity or travel only from the 4 metros or the larger airports in the metros, maybe that may not be the right way to look at it. A lot of people are now taking regional connectivities. And to couple that, you have got train, you've got buses, so people are willing to travel through trains. I mean, we operate a lot of groups into Goa where people are willing to actually travel by train and still take that experience out of Goa. So they may not necessarily be the air travelers, but the short durations or the short hauls are actually traveling through the trains also. So clearly, I think there's enough feeder in terms of logistics and transport available for the customer to undertake their travel. So airline may not be the only defining factor, but yes, it's an important lever, because once you talk about holidays, unless you are taking a flight, people don't really get the pride of saying I took a great holiday.
Correct. Okay, adding to that question, how do you think the Jet Airways crisis is impacting the industry and your company?
It's too premature for me to comment on Jet Airways. Well, I think there's a lot of things that will emerge over a period of time. Clearly, it's going through some turbulent times, and we've read enough of that in the newspapers. So I don't want to make a specific comment on Jet Airways. But yes, as far as our travelers are concerned, people who are booked with us, we've been reaching out to them and warning them, or rather giving them early signals about what the possible impact would be. So we are guiding them through to other airlines. We are ensuring that they have a comfortable holiday with us, giving them more options. And it's not that Jet Airways has grounded all their aircraft. There are still aircraft that are flying. There are about 40 odd aircraft that are flying as of today. So clearly, wherever we can accommodate our passengers onto the same aircraft, we are putting them on. But yes, we are advising our customers and giving them alternative plans to ensure that they are not put through hardships through this period.
Okay, sir. I would like to ask you, how is your foreign exchange business doing considering the competition from banks?
Well, I think I wouldn't see bank as a competition into the space that we operate. Thomas Cook's foreign exchange license is unique. We don't do commercial transactions. We don't do trade transactions. Our license is restricted to travel related transactions. So clearly the 20% growth that I spoke about on the holiday is clearly an uptick for the travel businesses, for the foreign exchange business also, because foreign exchange is a byproduct for every traveler. So when he's going to travel abroad, he's going to need foreign exchange to spend on the shopping, to spend on his eating and everything else. So clearly, to that extent, foreign exchange as a business has been growing at about 10-12%, and we see that trajectory to continue. Another important element of the foreign exchange business is the students market. After a lull for about 3-4 years, we've actually seen the last 24 months where the student market has actually come of age. US market is starting to look up, the UK market is looking up, Canada as a destination is looking up. So clearly there are enough and more markets that are coming up on the student side, and clearly there is an opportunity for us to increase the pace of our growth in those segments. So from our foreign exchange business point of view, I don't really see banks as a competition, because the core competency of a bank is banking services, which is current account and savings account, whereas forex is so embedded into a specialized field that our travel related offerings to the customer allows us to operate in that space very well.
Okay, sir. Also, I'd like to ask you, the average cash conversion cycle in the past for Thomas Cook has been negative compared to competitors. So what do you plan to do to change that in the future?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. What do you mean by cash conversion cycle? Are you talking about the ability of the company to convert cash, foreign exchange cash into
to
rupees,
generate cash, to generate cash,
the capital employed in the business? No, actually, if you see the last 4 years, we've been actually generating a free cash in excess of 250 crores as a group. In fact, for the period ended 31st of December 2018, our free cash generation was 311 crores. our net cash on the book, net cash, is about 650 crores. So clearly, our ability to generate a little over 250 crores a year allows us enough capital on the table to not only expand our business, but also to look at acquisition as and when they stand up. And you would have heard about the recent acquisition that we made into this company called DEI, which is very adjacent to the travel, and we are quite excited about that space.
Okay, sir. The DMS business that was acquired in July 2017 has turned profitable in third quarter of FY19. Do you think the profitability will be sustained in the coming quarters?
Oh, of course, yes. We made a strategic move to make that happen. It was not about one tactical shift that we made. It's a more strategic move. We kind of weeded out unprofitable accounts. We took out the cost bases that were untenable to those businesses, and clearly right-sized the organization, brought in lot more productivity measures, and more importantly, acquired new customers who have come back to us. So clearly the business is on a growth path, and we expect the sustainability of the profitability for the years to come.